Good morning everybody and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about another philosophically themed martial arts discussion about martial arts and if people are attracted to martial artists. Booyah! So as always, let's start on a nice positive, guys. Hope everybody's doing well and hope everybody's in a safe place and getting ready for Halloween, which is fast approaching. Okay, pleasantries out of the way, let's get down to the conversation. So I put out a poll recently on my community tab saying I had some ideas for videos. What would you guys like to hear? And I got a few people coming back, and it was pretty much an even mix. But one of the options was talking about if people are attracted sexually and relationship-esque wise to people who do martial arts. So I looked and thought, yeah, in my life. Doing martial arts, I have met various different types of people who use that martial arts or use that hobby as a martial arts in order to try and promote themselves to the other sex. Now, I'll say this from a guy perspective because I am a guy. I cannot speak for the woman's side of things, but as a guy speaking, I've known lots of guys who do say stuff like this. They'll quite often start with stuff like, oh, my name is Mr. Turbinator. Oh, really, Mr. Turbinator? What'd you do? Oh, I do martial arts. Or I'm a black belt in karate. Quite often accompanied by like a, yeah, but I'm not meant to tell you that. That sort of archetype, I suppose. It can be a lot more subtle as well. I mean, a lot of people who I have trained with have been quite brazen and blatant by the fact they do martial arts in an effort to try and get a sexual partner. And other people are a bit more like subtle about it. They may not necessarily talk about it so much, but they'll behave in such a way that they want this prospective sexual partner to know that they do martial arts. Generally speaking, I've often found those who I've trained with who are involved in more of like the full contact, the more no-nonsense kind of approach to martial arts, generally don't seem to have that sort of personality or that persona of I'm going to say I do martial arts in order to get you in. Generally, I appreciate that as a generalization, but generally I've not trained with people who do that from a more like full contact kind of stuff. But it seems to be more of like the fantasy, airy-fairy kind of realm of martial arts, the McDojo types. McDojo students are the ones who I've found from my experience will generally be like, yeah, I do martial arts and I'm really cool and all this kind of stuff. And I saw one guy at a competition many years ago. I saw him a few times actually. I never got to know his name, but I saw him a few times at some tournaments around the UK. And he always had this girl with him. And he just had this whole persona of, oh yeah, I'm really cool because I do martial arts and I'm really, really cool and sexy with the girls kind of thing. He was always getting beaten at competitions as well. He did like sparring competitions, even though they were like light contact and semi-contact and stuff, and he was just getting beaten all the time. I don't know if that was denting his ego or what have you, I don't know. But he was almost like the bastion, I suppose, of this approach, which I'm trying to come across in this video. Other examples, I trained with a guy who did Jeet Kune Do. He was a guy who taught me dark Jeet Kune Do, actually. That's a story for another time. But this guy, he would always try and put into a conversation that he did Jeet Kune Do. He was such and such a rank in Jeet Kune Do. He would go around saying stuff like, oh yeah, I can do this, I can do that. I killed a cow with a golf ball. My instructor makes me train on broken glass. And yeah, you're going to get a lot of boasting in martial arts anyway, especially from McDojo clans. But this guy would try and say it in an effort to try and get women who are around him kind of like attracted to him. He thought by saying this kind of stuff, women would be attracted to it. We could go into like a psychological Freudian approach here and say that maybe it's this male hardwiring, so to speak, that says, if I can show to you I can do this amazing stuff physically, it'll make you attracted to me because you perceive me as being like a breadwinner. You perceive me as being somebody who can protect you. You can perceive me as being somebody who, if S hits the fan, I'll be there to save you. Take the role of a protector of the alpha male, so to speak. And maybe that's involved in it. Maybe it's a bit more of like a conscious insecurity, perhaps, of thinking, oh, I actually know I'm not too good at this kind of stuff. But if I pretend I am, and if I keep saying it, I'm trying to convince myself, and I'm also trying to convince you to come with me. Another aspect, I suppose, from my experience, I've noticed that a lot of people who kind of say this are generally, now this is going to sound classist and a bit Marxist, white males. Like I said, not speaking from a female perspective, but I've never seen females who do martial arts go around using their martial arts as a sexual tool to get people to be attracted to them. It just seems to be this male thing. And a lot of it as well, I've noticed, is guys will do stuff like, oh, you know, I can kick you head height, I can do all this, and they'll show women all this kind of stuff, or girls at parties, which I've seen. Yeah, I can do this, I can break this, I can jump and do this. And I often look at these people, and I look at them, I then look at the women they're talking to and engaging with, and I think, what is going through your mind? As you as a woman, are you impressed if you meet a guy who dresses up in a dobok or a gi? And, you know, I have a dobok. I burnt a whole load of my doboks, as another story, but I still have one dobok, which I use for competitions. But this day and age, I look at doboks and think, actually, you look really silly. As a fully grown male adult, dressing up in a gi or a dobok, my perspective, you look quite silly. And I often look at women and think, I personally don't see women being attracted to men who go around wearing pajamas and doing these McDojo fantasy kind of moves. There's a video on YouTube of, like, I think it's like a Greek TV show. Some guy with long hair goes into a studio and he's doing this Bruce Lee stuff, and there's this woman TV presenter with blonde hair, like, watching him. And you could tell on her face, she's just like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? And he's like taking it really seriously. He's not wearing a gi, I admit, but I mean, a fully grown man trying to do this kind of stuff, this traditional kind of martial art stuff, none of it looked practical at all. And I was just looking at this woman thinking, like, what is going through your mind as you're watching this? Are you impressed by this? Are you being attracted to this guy, seeing him do this? And if I'm going to hazard an educated guess, I would probably say no, but again, everybody's different, and I can't speak for everybody. However, I feel to myself, if I now see somebody doing something like that, would I be attracted to them on a sexual basis? If I was a woman, I'm going to put myself in a woman's place, I suppose, even though I said earlier I can't really speak for women, but if I was to put myself in a woman's place and I saw a fully grown man doing this kind of stuff, I'd find it quite silly. I can imagine. I can't see myself being physically attracted to somebody doing that. And of course, you know, we're drawing a line between the more robust, the more hands-on martial arts. People who might do, like, I don't know, Thai boxing, or a martial art which really concentrates on sparring, where one can show their upmanship, but it's not steeped in this mysticism. It's not steeped in this sort of bullshido type, I am a grandmaster. And another thing as well, like when you get practitioners who give themselves titles, like, I have seen many years ago, long story short, and I digress slightly, I was on a dating website, and this is going back 20 odd years, and I remember, like, scanning through some of these dating sites and all these profiles, and I was sent both men and women profiles. I don't know why they were sending me male profiles. It was a bit weird. But I saw quite a lot of them. A lot of guys on there were people who practice martial arts. A lot of McDojo kind of martial arts. Not even McDojo, but traditional martial arts. And a lot of them in their dating profile, they put stuff like, yeah, I'm a third dan in Shotokan karate, or, you know, I'm a taekwondo grandmaster, and all this kind of stuff. And that was usually the first thing they put. Or have like interests and hobbies, and they'll put like, oh, martial arts kind of stuff. Sure, we all have hobbies, but on a dating site, to kind of come out and say that to a prospective date, you're on a date with somebody in a nice, posh, glamorous restaurant, and they're like, oh, so what are you interested in? And you say like, yeah, martial arts. Okay, well, how old are you? I'm 45. I've got my green tag in Taekwondo. I'm going for my grading tomorrow, and I'm 99.9% guaranteed to pass. I feel it's a little bit cringing, and especially if somebody is going to give themselves like titles like Grandmaster and Supreme Master, take it way too seriously. To me, that comes across as very insecure. The only time I mentioned martial arts, I think I don't. I mean, when I was dating, I never mentioned that I did martial arts. It was only really if kind of like somebody got to know me really well, and obviously they'd come around and they'd see like trophies and stuff and like certificate up there and what have you, then I could explain a little bit further. But it certainly wasn't something I'd mention on the word go right off the bat. Yeah, I'm a black belt. I didn't see the point in it. I didn't see how that was going to impress anybody. I'd rather impress them with intellect, like practical knowledge, this kind of stuff. Yes, I can cook. Yes, I can do housework. Yes, I can do basic DIY, this kind of stuff. Yes, I can psychoanalyze you, all this kind of stuff. That, personally, I feel will be a lot more attractive because they're both practical and intellectual traits, as opposed to doing martial arts. Yes, doing martial arts may promote a sense of fitness, or it may show to a prospective partner, I am physically fit. But you don't need martial arts by itself to do that, and especially not McDojo-y, airy-fairy, fantasy-type martial arts, where you're 87th rank and dark Jeet Kune Do kind of stuff, and you can kill a cow with a golf ball and train on broken glass. That's not impressing anybody. What's going to happen then? You're going to get sectioned under the Mental Health Act and put under Section 2179 or whatever the hell it is, where you have involuntary treatment. I can imagine, not speaking from experience. But that being said, I'm genuinely interested to know what if women would be attracted to that kind of stuff. I know we've kind of like explored in this video like quite varied aspects, but if as a woman you were to go on a date with somebody and you ask them, what are you interested in? They said, oh yeah, I'm such and such martial artist, such and such grade, and they're like a fully grown adult, not a teenager, not like an early 20 something, but like a fully grown adult. Would you be impressed by that? Would you feel sexually attracted to them? Maybe you would. Maybe I'm just being a bit harsh. I could sound very judgmental, but I just don't feel as though that's something that people would be impressed by. If you were to put it on your dating profile or even like your work CV, I feel it would be insightful to hear from a female perspective. And I know I don't get many female visitors to my YouTube channel, though I have a lot recently when I check my analytics and demographics. But I feel it would be really interesting to actually hear from a female perspective. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in that comment section, and stay safe, train hard, and keep listening to Jack Off Jill because they're the best band around. And I'll see you all in the next video. Booyah.